Once upon a time, in a big city in Nigeria, there lived a woman named Madam Clara. She was very rich. She owned tall buildings, big companies, many cars, and even beach houses by the sea. Everyone in town knew her name. They called her the Queen of Wealth. But Madam Clara had a secret pain in her heart. Every day, she smiled in public. She gave money to the poor, she dressed in gold and silk, and she walked like a queen. Yet at night, when she was alone in her giant mansion, she sat by the window and whispered to herself, "Does anyone truly love me? Or do they only love my money?" Her husband, Chief James, was a handsome man. He liked wearing designer suits, gold chains, and driving expensive cars. He always told Madam Clara, "My darling, you are my treasure." But in her heart, she wondered, was she really his treasure? Or was her money his treasure? Her brother and sister, Alfred and Blessing, always came to visit. But each time, they never left without asking for something. "Sister, can you help me buy a new car?" Alfred would say. "Sister, I need money for a new business," Blessing would add quickly. Madam Clara gave them everything, but still, she wondered, do they love me as their sister? Or do they love me as a bank? Her business partners too, Mr. Johnson, Mrs. Agnes, and Mr. Patrick, always smiled at her. They bowed when she entered the office. They praised her intelligence. Yet deep in her heart, she felt their eyes were not looking at her, but at her company shares. Even her servants and friends were not different. Whenever they came close, they talked about her money, her houses, her clothes. No one asked how she was truly feeling. One night, while sitting alone in her golden bedroom, Madam Clara felt her heart breaking. "I must know the truth," she whispered. "I must know who truly loves me for who I am, not for what I have." And so, a dangerous idea entered her mind. She decided to pretend to be dead. Yes, dead. If she pretended to die, then she would see who would cry for her, who would miss her, who would truly feel pain because she was gone. And she would also see who would rejoice, who would smile, who would only think about her wealth. The next morning, she called her most loyal servant, Mama Grace, an old woman who had worked for her since she was young. Mama Grace was not greedy. She was poor, but she loved Clara like a daughter. "Mama Grace," Clara said in a soft voice, "I want to do something strange. But promise me, you will not tell anyone." "I promise, madam," Mama Grace replied. Clara leaned close and whispered her plan. She would lie still in a casket, dressed like the dead, while Mama Grace spread the news that she had passed away suddenly in her sleep. Mama Grace gasped. "Huh! Madam, this is too risky. People will cry, the news will spread like fire. What if something goes wrong?" Clara shook her head firmly. "I need to know the truth. I need to know who truly cares. Please, Mama Grace. Help me." Mama Grace wiped her tears and agreed. 2 days later, the mansion was silent and dark. The golden curtains were drawn, and a casket stood in the middle of the living room. Inside it, Madam Clara lay still. She wore a shining white satin gown, her eyes closed, her face painted with powder to look pale. She looked like a sleeping angel. Mama Grace spread the news across town, "Madam Clara is dead." The news spread faster than wind. Neighbors screamed. Servants whispered. Cars rushed in through the big mansion gates. Inside the casket, Madam Clara's heart beat fast, but she stayed still. Her mind whispered, "Now I will see the truth. Now I will see who loves me." She heard the giant door open. Heavy footsteps echoed across the marble floor. The first person had arrived. It was her husband, Chief James. Clara's heart trembled. Surely, he will cry. Surely, he will fall on the floor and hold my casket. Surely, he will mourn his wife. But then, she heard a sound. It was not the sound of crying. It was the sound of laughter. Her husband stood by the casket, his hands in his pockets, smiling widely. At last, he whispered to himself. At last, she is gone. Now the money is mine. The houses, the cars, the businesses, all mine. Ho ho ho. Clara's body shook inside the casket, but she forced herself to remain still. Barmadiel's smile grew wider. He even licked his lips. I will marry another rich woman, he muttered. A younger one. Together, we will enjoy everything Clara left behind. Madame Clara's heart broke into 1,000 pieces. Tears filled her closed eyes, but she did not move. She had seen the truth. Her husband never loved her. He only loved her money. Just then, more voices filled the room. Her brother Alfred and sister Blessing rushed in, pretending to cry. Oh, our dear sister is gone. Alfred shouted. Oh, what a loss. Blessing wailed. But within seconds, their false tears disappeared. They turned and looked at each other. I want her luxury cars, Alfred said quickly. No. The cars are mine. I deserve them. Blessing snapped back. You can take the clothes, but I must have the beach houses. Alfred argued. Never. The beach houses belong to me. Blessing shouted. Madame Clara, inside the casket, felt her heart grow colder. So even her brother and sister cared nothing for her. They only cared for what she owned. The living room was quiet like a church at night. The golden curtains did not move. The tall chandelier did not swing. Only the air conditioner hummed softly. In the middle of the room, the casket stood like a silent boat. Inside it, Madame Clara lay very still, cold powder on her face, her hands folded like a sleeping queen. Chief James stood beside the casket and smiled. He did not cry. He did not sigh. He only smiled. He looked left and right to make sure no one was watching. Then he leaned close to the casket and whispered, At last. At last, everything is mine. He straightened up, put his hands in his pockets, and began to count with his fingers. The houses. The cars. The company shares. The beach houses. The gold. The land. All mine. He chuckled like a man who had just found a hidden treasure chest. Inside the casket, Madame Clara heard every word. Her heart squeezed tight. She wanted to open her eyes and shout, Chief James. I am alive. But she remembered the plan. She wanted to see the truth to the very end. So, she stayed still like a stone. Chief James pulled out his shiny phone. Uche, he said to the driver, come to the mansion now. We will have a small burial tomorrow by noon. Yes, tomorrow. No need to wait. The sooner, the better. He paused and smiled again. He ended the call and dialed another number. Mr. Daniel, he said to the family lawyer, prepare the papers. I want to see the will tonight. Yes, tonight. We must keep the company safe. He winked at his own reflection in the glass table. Safe with me. From behind the curtain, Mama Grace watched him with wide, wet eyes. Her hands shook. She pressed her old fingers together and prayed silently, God, protect my madam. Chief James walked slowly around the casket like a cat suckling a bowl of milk. He stared at Clara's diamond ring. It was bright like a tiny star. He reached out and touched it. Such a fine ring, he said softly. He tried to slide it off her finger. Mama Grace rushed out at once. Sir, she cried, her voice thin but brave. Please. Let her rest. Do not touch her things yet. Chief James's smile dropped for a moment. He looked at Mama Grace with hard eyes. Mind yourself, old woman, he said. Go to the kitchen. Mama Grace bowed her head, but she did not move. Sir, please, she begged. Let us honor her. Let us wait for her parents. They are old. They must hear the news and come. We will not wait, he snapped. Then he smiled again, but now his smile was sharp like a knife. Go. Mama Grace stepped back, shaking like a leaf. Clara felt hot tears gather under her closed eyelids. He cannot even wait, she thought. He cannot even wait for my parents. Chief James put his phone on loudspeaker and called a friend. Oh, my brother, he said in a sad voice that sounded fake, such a heavy day. Pray for me. He squeezed his eyes to make them look wet. Yes, I am strong. Thank you, thank you. He ended the call and typed a message to the world. My dear wife is gone, he wrote. My heart is broken. He added a crying face. He pressed send. Then he smiled at his own cleverness. He walked to the glass cabinet by the wall and opened it with a small key. He took out a brown notebook and a gold pen. On the first line he wrote, "Things still take over." Under it he wrote, "Main mansion. Company headquarters. All cars. Beach houses. Shares. Safe room." He underlined safe room twice. He closed the book and called Uche again. "Bring the spare keys to the safe," he said. "We will open it tonight." As he ended the call, the main door opened. Alfred and Blessing walked in. Chief James put on his sad mask again. He hugged them lightly. "We must be strong," he said, tapping his chest. "We must plan. There is much to arrange. Come." He led them to the round table. He opened the brown notebook and placed the gold pen on top. "First," he said, "we must make a list. We cannot let strangers steal anything." Alfred's eyes shone. "Yes. Let us list the cars," he said quickly. "The red one. The silver Jeep. The new blue one." Blessing pushed the pen toward herself. "No, list the beach houses first," she said. "The one at Silver Coast. The one at Golden Bay." They began to argue like two goats bumping heads. They forgot the casket. They forgot the woman. They remembered only the things. The argument grew hot. "I will keep the red car," Alfred said. "I will take the red car and the blue one," Blessing replied. "Then I will take both beach houses," Alfred shouted. "Never." Blessing slapped the table with her palm. "One house is mine from today." Chief James watched them, amused. He leaned back and smiled his knife smile. "Calm down," he said softly. "There is enough for everyone. But I am the husband. I will guide us." He turned to Mama Grace. "Bring drinks," he ordered. "We must sit and plan." Mama Grace did not move. She looked at the casket, then at the three greedy faces. She folded her arms. "This is a house of sorrow," she said. "No drinks today." Chief James's smile cracked. "Do not make me repeat myself." Mama Grace's lips trembled, but she stood her ground. "Sir, please," she whispered. "Let us respect her. Let us wait for her parents." "We will not wait," he said again, and the knife smile returned. "Uche." The driver rushed in, breathing hard. "Yes, sir." "The safe room," James said. "Now." Uche nodded and ran out. In a minute he came back with a small box of keys. He and Chief James walked down the hallway toward the safe room. Alfred and Blessing followed them like children chasing cake. Mama Grace walked to the casket. She leaned close to Clara's ear and whispered, "My child, hold on. Your parents are on their way. I sent a boy to call them. Hold on." A warm tear rolled from the corner of Clara's eye and disappeared into the powder. She did not move. She only listened. Down the hallway, metal scraped metal. The safe room door opened with a long groan. Chief James laughed softly. Home, sweet home, he said, stepping inside. Shelves lined the walls. Boxes. Files. A steel cabinet. A little glitter of gold from a drawer. He clapped his hands once. We begin. He took out a file marked company shares and placed it in a leather bag. He took a small chest filled with gold coins and placed it in the bag too. He scribbled in his notebook, "Move to my study." He whispered, "Safe with me." Alfred pointed at a box. "What is that?" "Important documents," James said. "I will keep them." He tapped his chest. "I am the husband." Blessing's voice grew sweet like sugar. "Brother-in-law," she said, "when will we see the keys for the cars?" "Soon," James said. "After the burial tomorrow." "Tomorrow." Mama Grace had followed them quietly and now she spoke. "Sir, please. Her parents are old. They live far. Give them time." Chief James turned and stared at her. For a moment, his smile disappeared and his face looked like hard stone. Then he smiled again, slow and bright. "Mama Grace," he said, "you will do as I say. Or you will leave this house today." Silence fell like a heavy blanket. Mama Grace's eyes filled with tears, but she did not answer. She turned and walked back to the living room, to sit beside the casket and pray. Chief James zipped his leather bag and handed it to Uche. "Take this to my room," he said. "Lock the door." Uche obeyed. James checked his watch. "The lawyer will arrive soon," he said. "We will read the will tonight. After that, we can share things properly." Alfred rubbed his hands together. Blessing smiled with all her teeth. From the gate, the sound of new cars rolled in, the soft hush of big tires, doors closing, footsteps on tiles. Voices rose in the air, polite, careful, businesslike. "Mr. Johnson. Mrs. Agnes. Alhaji Patrick." The business partners had come. Chief James's smile grew wider. "Welcome, welcome," he called, walking back toward the living room. "Come and greet our dear madam." He touched his chest and made a sad face. Such a painful day. Inside the casket, Madame Clara felt a cold wind pass through her heart. The husband was happy. The siblings were greedy. And now, the partners had arrived. She took a slow breath, her chest barely moving. "Hold on," she told herself. "Hold on a little more." The living room of Madame Clara's mansion looked like a palace. Shining floors. Golden curtains. A giant chandelier that sparkled like stars. The casket stood in the middle, quiet and heavy, like a secret. Chief James sat in one corner, his brown notebook on his lap, a sly smile tugging his lips. He had already started making his secret list. He thought himself wise. But he was not alone. Alfred and Blessing, Clara's younger brother and sister, stood near the casket. At first, they bent their heads as if to mourn. Their lips moved as though whispering prayers.